You can run Unreal Engine 5 on a web browser. AMD Ryzen 8000 GE low-power desktop APU specs have emerged. NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070 Super gets its first price drop. And for the first time, AMD Ryzen 7000 X3D processors gets huge price cuts. Firstly, we got Alex St. Louis have posted this on X, and as you can see, he quotes, "Very excited to share a sneak peek of Unreal Engine 5 running in web GPU with multi-threaded rendering, many performance optimizations, and the star of the show, an asset streaming system." So basically, as you can tell, it's the hashtag UV5 hashtag web GPU, meaning that Unreal Engine 5 is getting ported to web GPU, that you can literally run it on a web browser directly from a web browser. Unreal Engine 5 running directly from a web browser. That is crazy. A software, basically, you can run that on a web browser, basically making it a browsing-based 3D designing tool, or you could say that. That's really interesting how they did that, and it is remarkable because we haven't seen such thing like that. But Unreal Engine 5 is able to do this. Literally can run on web browser. You don't even need to, like, I guess, install Unreal Engine 5 on your PC. Just run it from web browsers. That's really interesting. So this, as you can see here, is just in the web GPU. They're developing such methods so that they can run this. Although basically it is running already, so it's completely done. The thing is, right now it hasn't been in the public yet, but I'm pretty sure they will be doing that, and that will really be like a game changer. But of course, I feel like it's better to have Unreal Engine 5 on your local machine so that it is, you know, smoother or runs perfectly. But I guess this is also not going to be a bad thing. The problem is, like, how does it really work? We still are not really sure, but I feel like it's a good alternative. And next up we have Harucase5719 has tweeted this, and he codes 35 watts. So basically what he's talking about is the Ryzen 5 8000 series of APUs, but basically the 35 watts modules. As you can see, we have the Ryzen 7 Pro 8500 GE, which is an 835 watts model, and we're looking at base clock. I believe that is the base clock, which is 3.4 gigahertz, and it also packs with 16 megabytes of L3 cache, and of course the 6-core processor, so it's also stated there. We also got the Ryzen 5 Pro 8500, or not non-Pro 8500 GE. Basically that's the 35 watts model. We already seen the Ryzen 5 Pro 8500 GE, the G series, basically that's its 65 watts model, but now we're getting to see the more lower powered models, which is the 35 watts, and these are the specs lineup, which is the Ryzen 3 Pro 8300 GE. We're looking at 35 watts. The clocks are quite similar, 3.5, 3.4, so yeah, but for the Ryzen 3 parts, we're looking at 8 megabytes of L3 cache, which is expected because, you know, it's a 4-core processor. We don't really need that much anyway. And of course, the Ryzen 3 8300 GE is also there, 35 watts model, 8 megabytes and 4 cores. So it's quite similar, these two processors. I believe the boost clock will be different because, you know, it's not here, so we can't really actually say that, but I feel like there has to be some differences among these two, so, or among all of these, because, you know, the base clock looks very much similar, and of course the L3 cache is different compared to the 4-core parts and the 6-core parts. So yeah, this is more of a budget-friendly ones that we'll be seeing the 35 watts. Not much to offer here, but I believe the performance will be better than the previous generation, of course. And next up, we got our first price drop for the RTX 4070 Super, and as you can see, we have the, well, not a huge price cut, but it is a price cut. Well, basically for this particular model we're looking at is $599 for the previous, of course, the MSRP, but now we're looking at a $10, only a shy of $10 cut here, which is again not a big cut, but it just kind of, you know, tells you something. It indicates that the price drop is already coming in because, you know, RTX 4070 Super hasn't been released a long time ago, and already there's a little bit of price cut so that would indicate that there should be more price cut coming in the future lineup. We'll see about that. And yeah, again, the same model in Amazon we're looking at $589. So yeah, it's these two. This particular card is getting a price cut here, which is again the Zotac. Also, the most MSRP model that you could ever think of is the Zotac, which is also a decent card, not gonna lie, but yeah, it's going down to $589, so not bad. We'll see how it goes in the future, that if it goes down even more. My guess would be if it can go down to $550, but not sure when. We'll see about that. If it does, I will report it. And lastly, we got some pretty nice price cuts going on in the AMD lineup here. Of course, the X3D lineup for the 7000 series, of course. So let's look into it, shall we? So first one, we were looking at the AMD Ryzen 9 7950 X3D, and well, we're looking at $599 for this particular card, only 14%. Well, I shouldn't say only, because 14% is still a lot. Getting a huge cut here from $699 to $599. That's pretty neat. Again, on Amazon, we're looking at the 7950 X3D cutting down to $599. Previously was at $649 in Amazon, or in Newegg, I should say. So that's kind of interesting that the price was such higher compared to Amazon, so that's interesting. But anyway, now it's basically $599, and yeah, that's decent. That's pretty decent. Again, not a huge cut in price, but we'll take that. On Newegg, it was already $649, so compared to the Amazon price, it was lower, $50 less, but now we have a similar pricing compared to the Amazon one, which is $599. In this case, it's a 7% off because, you know, it previously was $649. So basically, that would be the best deal we can get because, you know, in Amazon is the same price, $599, or in Newegg, it is also the same price. So it doesn't really make a difference. You can just get it from anywhere you want it. Also, in Best Buy, the Ryzen 9 7950 X3D is also at $599. So again, whatever vendor you're choosing, literally the same price cut. So that's pretty neat. So next up, we get to see the Ryzen 9 7900 X3D, the 12-core processor, of course. And well, this one got a huge price cut because, you know, 32% here we're looking at is pretty good. 409, basically 410, and that's not bad. $410 for this particular processor is a pretty it's a steal, I should say, because $599 you would be paying $599 for this in the past. Now you're looking at 409, so that's a huge decent amount of price cut. I mean, 32% is quite a lot. Also on B&H, in the retailer, we're looking at the same pricing here, which is 409. Again, literally in all other vendors we're looking at the same kind of price drop, so that's pretty good. Even though in this case the pricing was a bit lower because they were selling this for 509 and now we're looking at 409. So in the past this was 509, so it was a better deal in this vendor, but now we're looking at 409. So basically similar pricing all around, so no big deal. But a big deal is that the price did get a huge drop, so that's good. And let's look into the 8-core variant, which is the 7800 X3D. This one got again a decent cut, but 18% compared to the 7900 X3D. That was not big, but still a huge decent amount. 18% is pretty good, from 449 to 369. Nice. So that's pretty good. Also in Newegg, the pricing looks absolutely similar, 369. So you can save again 17% or 18%, whatever, $80 save, whatever it is. 369 all around. Again, the similar pricing, previously 449. And it looks like that now at this time around, I feel like this particular processor, the 7800 X3D, because I believe you're focusing on gaming or even productivity, and if you want to go for, you know, a bit of a budget-friendly option, I think now this particular model, the 7800 X3D, becomes more attractive to the consumer. So I do recommend this one. Again, in B&H, we did see some price cut before in B&H, which was 419, but now we're looking at 369. Again, similar pricing all around. So whatever vendor you choose, literally the same price, and a good price for the 7800 X3D is 369. And same goes for Best Buy. They're selling it for 369, the 7800 X3D. So all around, I would say the pricing looks amazing. For the 7950 X3D, it's not a huge cut in price, but it's still appreciable. You know, it's quite a lot. So not bad, really not bad. As for the 7900 X3D, that got the most price cut. So now it kind of, you know, it's kind of, you might think about it, like, should I pay for the 7800 X3D because, you know, it's coming at 369, or should I go like $50 more or 50-ish, you know, like somewhere around that, and grab the 7900 X3D for 409, right? So you kind of think about it because, you know, it's just $50 more. You can get 12 cores versus 8 cores, which is 369. So again, whatever you choose, if you're in budget, I guess 7800 X3D would be the better option here because, you know, it's giving you 369. But if you're going for, you know, if you want to go for more clocks, because, you know, more clocks, more performance in terms of workstation and stuff, maybe not so much in gaming because, you know, 7800 XT can deliver some solid performance in gaming. But if you're looking for like to use this in other applications that literally uses multi-core performance, I guess this is a better deal, which is coming at 409, the 7900 X3D. As for 7950 X3D, not a big difference, but it's there. Yeah, what do you think? Which one would be a better deal in case of your purchase? I feel like this helped you decide. And of course, the 7900 X3D looking pretty good now because the price cut is massive, to be honest with you. Now when you compare the 7950 X3D and the 7900 X3D, the price gap is big, huge. As for the 7800 X3D, it's not a huge gap. So I believe those two processors, the 7800 X3D and the 7900 X3D, are pretty good in my opinion. So you tell me.